up? And welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How was your day?
How was your week?
How is your life?
Going. How you doing, baby? You got hair sticking out the top.
Yeah, you jerk. He's like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "Yes."
I was like, "Let's go."
Your headset on. What you talking about, Willis?
I was like, "Let's go. Let's do this. We ain't got time to waste."
I had my hair in a ponytail, so I had to like pull back. So I needed to make sure.
You got one like sticking out the top. You guys got to watch on YouTube and Facebook.
I don't see it. Right here?
Here, I'll pull it here.
Right here?
That one.
Oh.
Act like you don't like it.
I'm going to pull it like I pulled you this morning.
Come on, babe. Shit.
Dude.
What are you doing over there?
Did you see? I got excited. I started thinking about it. No.
Hey, before we do anything, make sure you guys go to our website and share this podcast with people that you know. Let them know about the debauchery and the fun that we have on this show. All the crazy stuff that we talk about. Share your favorite clip with them and let them know to like, subscribe. You guys like, subscribe, comment, thumbs up.
Yes.
All that stuff.
All that good stuff. Did you see the video I
did
today?
Of you doing a pull-up?
Yes.
That was cool. That was awesome.
What was it? You want to tell the audience, or you're just going to say, yeah? Like what?
Oh, you guys got to check out Sonja's, well, it's too late. It was a story, so it's gone now. But you posted a video saying that your goal has been to do one pull-up.
Right.
One pull-up. And then you turn the camera towards the bar that I always do pull-ups on. And then you go hang from it and you start pulling yourself up a little bit. And then Audrey comes running in and picks you up by your butt and helps you
dude, why is it so hard to do a friggin' pull-up?
Yeah, pull-ups suck, dude.
You know, yeah. How do you get the strength to do it?
Yeah. You the way you get good at doing pull-ups is by doing pull-ups.
But if you can't do one pull-up, then how do you do pull-ups?
So I don't know, because I've always at least been able to do one, and then from one I kind of keep working from there. But there is this book, a kid's book made by Jocko Willink, Way of the Warrior Kid. And one of the things that he says, because in that book he's teaching his little nephew how to do pull-ups, and he's telling him that they're good for him and this and that. And, you know, him in the book being a Navy SEAL uncle, whatever, he's busting out like 40 pull-ups or whatever. Yeah. And the kid can't do any. And he's like, so how do I even do it? And he said, well, you put a box underneath the bar and then grab onto the bar. You put a box on it so that you can grab onto the bar just standing there. And then you jump up with your head over the bar, holding yourself up like in a pull-up. Like the highest pull-up that you could ever do. Just hold yourself up and just hold it. And hold it until your arms burn, until you can't hold yourself anymore and you start dropping. And just keep holding it until you're just hanging. And then get off the bar and do that again and do that again. So that's for people that work out, that's a negative, you know, so just keep doing that. And that eventually will build up enough strength to where you can do some pull-ups. And then once you can do some pull-ups, then you just do more pull-ups.
I was thinking that because I've been doing like push-ups and I do like 3 sets of 20, right?
Yeah.
That I would be able to at least do one.
Yeah, it's different.
Yes. And then so I'm like, Audrey, how many can you do? She's like, I don't know, maybe one. So she got on there and she did 2.
Yeah.
And then I asked Joey and Joey did 1. So it made me feel a little better.
Yeah. It's tough. Pull-ups are hard and they don't get easy.
I'm like, what the heck? Like, yeah.
They don't get easier. I tell you all, like I do pull-ups all the time and it's like, it's one of those things that it feels good being able to do pull-ups, because I know most people can't do pull-ups. I mean, and for women and men is different, but even for men, most men can't do pull-ups. Like most men can't do 5 pull-ups, you know?
Yeah.
So
no, that's nuts. It's a different kind of strength. That's what it is. It's a different kind of strength. And it's all upper body, it seems, because it takes your back. No?
But it's upper body and your core, because you'll notice that once you start doing, because you only did 1, but when you start doing a bunch of them, like you do sets of 15, sets of 20, sets of 10, you'll notice that you're sore in your abs from clenching and pulling yourself up. So your core will also, your back, everything. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've been doing planks.
Yep.
You know, so You would think that would also help.
Yeah. No, it's awesome, babe.
You
You just
know?
got to keep it up.
But anyways, yeah, Joey started talking crap. He started talking crap. I'm like,
You
hey,
can't
dude.
be talking crap
hold
about
on.
nobody.
I said, hold up, dude. I'm like, really? I said, want to go do some push-ups? Because I would lay him out with push-ups.
Right.
There's no way. You know?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I do it.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Of course.
Oh, yes. I'm like, dude, we could do some wall sets as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, all right, then.
Excuses, then shut up.
Right.
Yep. Oh, man, that's funny.
Yeah.
You know,
that was cool.
they are hard. But there was something that I was watching recently, and it was about like, it's like doing things for doing things' sake. We might have talked about this a little bit last week, but like sometimes I think it had something to do with like, why do we do the things that we do?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at all the things that keep you busy,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that they look at what they're doing and they're like, if they really sat down and think about it, it's like, why am I doing this in the first place? Like, why do I spend so much time going
That's
to
good.
fucking jujitsu?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
why
do you do what you do?
Am I gonna fight ninjas? Like, what the
So
fuck?
good.
Why does it?
Yeah.
Why does this shit even matter? And you spend so much time doing this stuff, and in some cases, it's hard to answer that.
So the question before that would be, what do you want? Like, what is it that you want? Like in life, like, what do you want?
And that's the
Because
thing.
if you want to be healthy, right? It's like having that clarity of what it is that you want and then breaking that down.
Let's say, like you have a career,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we all want to progress and do better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for you, it's like, I got to get to this level, this position, this and that. And it's like, well, you make enough money where you're comfortable. It's like, what is the point? What is the purpose? I need to go back to school to do this so that I can get that. And it's like, if you really think about it, like, why are you doing this? Is that going to make you happy?
Right.
And for me, when it comes to jujitsu, I do spend a lot of time doing it. And one thing that I do know, as difficult as it is I do value the confidence that it does bring when you know that you can handle yourself in certain situations. I mean, I'm not fucking Bruce Lee or John Wick or whatever, but I know some things that I know some things that may give me a little bit more confidence, and that feels good.
Right.
Also, it is something that is very athletic and gets me in shape. It helps keep me in shape when I don't like working out to begin with, which is another good thing. You know, so it's like, just because it's hard or whatever doesn't mean that you should be doing it. Because getting a degree is hard, but do you really want that? Is that going to make you happy? Does that really matter?
Right.
You know?
It makes me, well, when I look at going to the gym, I feel my best when I am consistently going to the gym. When I am doing that, everything seems to be going. I seem to be doing the things that that I feel that I want to do. Not that I'm supposed to be doing, but the things that I want to do. Like, I have the energy to do the things that I want to do. My mindset is right. Everything is right. I'm meditating on a regular basis because when I go to the gym, I meditate at the gym.
It's like the foundation
Is health for me.
to put you on the right track.
Right.
To keep you going in the right direction.
And it used to be to look good.
Yeah.
I've talked about this in the past. Before, it was to look good. And it is that, but it's not the main reason. Because I'm getting older. And for women, it is very important, like bone density, flexibility, right? Those are all very important when you start to age.
Yeah.
Because for women, like, and I don't, osteoporosis and all these other things that come into play as you age can really stop someone from doing the thing that they want to do. Or even the little things like walking up the stairs or bending down to tie your shoes. Like there's just so much to it. And so once I started looking into it, I started working out differently. I started focusing a lot on stretching.
Yeah.
A lot on lifting heavy, but not to the point where I'm causing an injury to myself.
Yeah.
Like it's more mindful.
Yeah.
You know, what I'm doing. Taking care of
yourself, yeah.
And so I can, you know, when I look back, it's like before I used to work out because I had to look good. Like I had to look good. That's what I based my life on.
That's why you worked out. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I gained weight, it was an angry workout.
Yeah.
I was angry at myself.
Yeah.
It wasn't because I was doing it because it was coming from that pain.
Yeah.
Versus now it's like, I want to live long enough. I want to be healthy.
Yeah.
I want to look good for you. Right? Yeah. Like it's just different, you know, and for myself. Right?
Yeah.
But it just comes from a different place.
Yeah. You know, to act like a lot of times we take things in such extremes, you know, like the ego, like, oh, you can't have an ego and this and that. And it's like, why shouldn't you want to look good for yourself naked? Mm-hmm. Why is it bad to want to be able to look in the mirror and be proud of what you look like?
It's where that is coming from, though. You understand?
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Well, yeah.
There's I feel worthless if I don't look this way.
Well, if that's the only thing that you base your identity or your value on. But I don't think there's anything wrong with looking wanting to look in the mirror and be like, shit, you look good. And look at the work that you put in. That's what that is. Great job. Like whatever you're thinking in your head, like, yeah, I do shit. I put in some work and I look good. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
No. You know, yeah.
It's just, where is that coming from? Just ask yourself that.
Yeah.
Where is that coming from? Because I know for me in the past, as I stated, it wasn't coming from a healthy place.
But there is something about working out and like the balance that it brings. Cause even, I was on my other podcast, Fighting for Your Life. I was, interviewing Wedo. He puts on fights in his backyard. You guys can check out, probably the next episode that comes out or the last episode that came out of Fighting for Your Life. But I was asking him about like, what does fighting for your life mean? Mm-hmm. And he was like, balance, you know, like that training, like when he trains, when he fights, it just kind of keeps everything else in balance. Just, you know, training and working out.
Interesting.
It's like the discipline of it, you know?
That's what I was trying to share when it comes to me working out.
Yeah.
Because as you know, I can be fucking everywhere. I am.
Right.
So I need some kind of structure in my life. And that helps
with the discipline first thing in the morning. And then you're already off to the right, you know, on the right track. And lately when I've been working out, like I always kind of dread it. And it's like, fuck, I got to go work out or you got to go to the gym in 30 minutes or an hour or whatever. But I really started thinking more recently, like when I'm getting ready or when I am starting my workout, it's like, all right, there's only an hour of this or you'll be done in 45 minutes. You know, so like consciously while I'm working out, like trying to remember that I should push harder because it's going to be over soon anyway. Mm-hmm. And then also when I'm done, remembering that my workout is done. That's over. Mm-hmm. The hardest part of the day is now done. And that feels good, you know? So
I've been learning a lot about mindset and how to reprogram the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, why in the fuck does it have to be so hard? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why does it have to be so fucking hard? Like, why can't we just see the habit, right? Like, because it all stems from some shit that happened, or, you know, something that happened when whatever in the past, and we've kept to that story, right? Maybe someone said you were lazy, or you just, as a child, it wasn't something to work out. It's not something that you did. So it wasn't something that was programmed into you. So now you're trying to reprogram.
I think
and it's just, it's such a fucking struggle.
No,
I'm like,
I think we're automatically programmed.
You know?
We're automatically programmed for comfort. For comfort. Everybody wants comfort. Nobody wants discomfort, and nobody wants hard shit. Nobody wants shit to be difficult, except for one person. David Goggins fucking loves when life shits on him.
There's some people that
yes, but not most. Yes, very, 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 very few. And they're different. But the 99.999% of people in the world want comfort, want shit to be easy, want shit to be easier. Want shit to be easier. You know, like, the reason it sucks is because it fucking sucks. Pull-ups suck because they fucking suck, and they don't get easier. The only way you get better is by doing more of them.
Yeah. And in order to reprogram the subconscious mind, it's building new habits.
And
it's continuing to do the thing that you don't want to do until you want to do it. And then it's just part of who you are.
And, you know, it is kind of like reprogramming your mind, because for pull-ups, I had to do that. I've done that. When I really think about it, man, we're freaking banging. We should just knock the whole fucking podcast thing over. We've been banging everything this podcast. But with pull-ups, it was like, I had to remind myself, these things suck. Pull-ups hurt, like your muscles burn, all this shit, especially when you're on 17 and you're running out of steam and you got 3 more to go. Those last 3 fucking burn.
Yeah.
No matter what, if I do 20 pull-ups, which is probably around the most that I do in one shot, even if I do 20, it probably takes me 25 seconds, 30 seconds. It doesn't take me fucking 15 minutes to do 20 pull-ups. Mm-hmm. So how bad is the discomfort really? Right? I always seem to forget about that all the time. It's like, you know what? It's only 20 seconds. I can fucking deal with the suck for 20 seconds and I'll be off the bar.
Yeah.
and then I'll do 10 more, and that's 10 seconds. Really, it's 10 seconds at a time.
That's so funny. So today when I was doing my planks, I do 2 minutes, and I should probably up that a little bit, but fucking 2 minutes is painful. Like 3 sets of 2-minute planks.
Yeah.
And I just remind myself, like, you gave birth naturally to 2 children, and the contractions supposedly were a minute. Like, that's how long I had to, like, keep,
bear down and brace yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did it seem like 2 minutes for you? Because damn, it didn't seem like 2 minutes for me.
Shit, I don't remember. It was not 2 minutes for me. I think I was eating chips or something.
You jerk. Yeah. But that's what I tell myself. That's how I remind myself, like, you've gone through that. This is nothing. Pull through. Push through. But damn, when it comes to those pull-ups, I'm just like, there's nothing to give.
Yeah. But doing difficult things, like, it does feel good. Like, if it is of value to you, even if it's hard, and keep doing it. But sometimes you got to think, like, why am I even doing this shit? Like, I thought about this podcast. I put so much time and effort into this podcast. We record every week. We're recording right now. I started another podcast or whatever. And when I think about it, it's like, this podcast has done something for our relationship, right? This podcast, our kids can go back and look on.
Right.
This podcast, like, there's a lot of value that comes from us doing this podcast. It's helped me think about all kinds of different things, talk about all kinds of different things, so
it's helped me to get over myself,
develop skills. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, right? So
yeah,
at the end of the day, it brings value, and we'll keep doing it.
Yeah. I remember the first time I was like, when I saw myself on camera, I'm like, oh God. Right. And then I have a friend who started a podcast, and the women ended up canceling it because they didn't nope, they were done, tough. But yeah, no, for sure. It gives me an hour to talk to you.
Yeah. I love it. And that kind of, that leads into something else. Kind of something that's been coming up recently. I've been talking about it over the last few months.
Are you going to throw something on me right now?
No. Actually, first, before we do that, make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Share it with the people that you know. Like, subscribe, comment. You can find us, follow us at Opposite Pod on all the different social medias, or search Opposites Attract Podcast. Follow the Clips channel on YouTube, Opposites Attract Podcast Clips. You'll see it's the same logo with just red on it, and it's got a little Clips banner. And that's where we put all the clips. Speaking of the clips, I don't know if you guys saw one of the last ones, but I clickbaited the shit out of everybody. Hey, I got to do what I got to do. Somebody told me one time, is like, you guys can have the best content in the world, but if nobody looks at it, who gives a shit?
Right.
And the only way they look at it is by the thumbnail and the title. So those need to be fire. So we did a clip that was kind of talking about, the coaching business and you feeling like you needed to be farther on along. It was a clip from our last episode. Definitely check out the last episode. It was one of our best ones, I feel. We got into all kinds of stuff. The last few clips too that came from that episode, we also did the why do you love me? I made that into a clip, so check that out and share it. But yeah, we were talking about like how you were feeling like you weren't doing enough, and it was like how we all feel that way. But the title for that was Good Wife Feels Guilty for Not Contributing Enough.
So hold on, I want to share the story real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm in the kitchen cooking, and Miguel comes and he's like, hey,
I got something.
And I'm like, dude, what? Like, I'm already thinking like, okay, dude, what are you up to now?
I was like, we about to go viral because I'm going to start some shit. Hey, you know what? That's how it goes. Like I heard somewhere, if you're fucking down the middle, like not down the middle and everything, but I think in something like this, in podcasting, in where you're putting your ideas and your opinions out there, if you were to do something like that, then you have to give your opinion and your idea. Nobody's going to give a shit if you're just like right down the middle all the time, because nobody's like that.
Yeah.
So if you have feelings on whatever's happening here, then fucking say it, And we were talking about, so that's why this is going to cause a problem, because people would read into the title, Good Wife Feels Guilty for Not Contributing Enough, would make certain people assume that the video is about something that it's not, but it is. That is you were feeling guilty, so it's not a lie. Mm-hmm. And then also on the thumbnail, I put something that might be the only thing that's clickbait, is like me looking at you like this from some part of the podcast, and it looks like I'm yelling at you in the thumbnail, and it says, you should do more or something like that, because I was saying back to you something that you said. So I also said that. But anyway, it's all clickbait, but it's a great clip, great video. Share it with people. And like we said before, the best thing that you can do is share this, comment, all that stuff. And if you want to support us, click on the Support the Show tab on our website, and anything that you purchase through the Amazon link on the Support the Show tab will help us out, and it doesn't cost you anything extra.
And you guys can go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod if you would like to support the show in a different manner. You can also subscribe to that on a monthly basis as well. Yep. So again, it's buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod. There
you go. There was something, was there something you wanted to say? What's up, y'all?
No, you're just talking shit. No.
Why? What am I talking shit about?
No, it's all good.
I am going to talk shit.
Oh, yeah? Let's hear it.
No.
There was something I wanted to share, a video. I thought I had sent it to you. I'm going to have to double check.
Think about it.
Yeah.
So what I was mentioning before we got into the website and all that kind of stuff was, man, recently over the last year, really, it's been the last year. This year, dude, I'm almost 41 now in a couple months. This year has been freaking crazy.
Oh, yeah?
Best year
Ever.
Nah, dude, it like 40 has been just fucking nuts.
So
I can't imagine
exactly
the rest. Like,
right.
This shit's crazy.
Dude.
Like, if I have more years like this year,
Babe, what did I tell you?
I don't
though?
even know what the fuck. Like, I don't know.
But what did I tell you? What have I?
Yeah. No,
What
you
did I say?
You have told me that at
tell
40,
the world.
you're 40, you're like 40's different. 40's
Dude.
different. I'm like, shut up. You know? Yeah.
Yes, because I am
weird.
older than Miguel. I'm 6 years older than Miguel.
You kind of tell me a few years
and so
in
I
advance.
kind of like, help him out a little bit, but he wasn't fucking ready for it. He just wasn't
dude.
fucking ready for it. And now, like, I'm closer to 50,
Yeah.
And it's just only getting like better.
Yeah. So when we first started this podcast, it might have been the first guest or one of the first guests that we had was a guy. I can't even remember his name. Dude, like, I just found this guy somewhere and we're like, you want to be on the podcast? He's like, yep. And we brought him on and just started talking. Like, fuck it.
What?
And it was an introvert guy, remember? Way back in the day.
Wait. That's the guy.
Yeah.
You brought in?
I think so. Or maybe you found him somehow.
Yeah,
But anyway, he
wrote a book.
He wrote a book.
Yes. I can't remember where I met. Yeah, I remember I met him. And I
think his name was like Silent But Deadly. No, I'm just kidding. That's like the farts. No, that wasn't it.
Are you remembering?
Quiet and Strong, I think is what.
You're remembering something from way back then?
Well, it's not that I'm remembering. Yeah, Quiet and Strong on Instagram and on everything else, I think, is his stuff. But it is on X, on Twitter. But when he came on, I had, at that time, when I first started the podcast, when we started, it was, 2019? It's almost 5 years ago. Damn, holy shit. And going on 5 years. And at that point, I was learning the differences between an introvert and an extrovert. And like just kind of realizing like the differences, like some of the differences between you and me, right?
Yes.
And then here recently, I started kind of learning about like different personality types, like the alpha male and the beta male and, sigma male. And then learning what a sigma male is. Like I identified a lot with that. And I'm like, not everything, but there's a lot of things that come with a sigma male's personality that I'm like, holy shit, like that's a lot of how I see things or a lot of the way that I think. And just to like, we've all talked about the introverts. Like an introvert is somebody that doesn't speak a lot. Like a lot of times it's not that they don't talk to others, but the way they always need like some time alone to just kind of reflect, to chill. Like that is the way that they kind of recharge their batteries. And then they can kind of go back out and talk to people and meet people and go to a party and do all that stuff. But eventually at the end of the night or the next day or whatever, it's like, I need some time to myself to decompress, to just like not talk to people or maybe only be around my people, but just not be around so many strangers and people that I don't know.
Yeah.
What?
It's like you sit back and you just take in all the information.
Yeah. And where an extrovert, which is more like your personality, and you've been kind of saying like it's kind of changing, but I think that's just part of you, like part of how you are. An extrovert is somebody who they get energy from being around people. It's like you can be out and party all day, all night. You love being around people.
I used to.
And you need that. Like you that is how you kind of refill or you feel
how I thrive.
Yeah. And it's not that one is good, one is bad. They're just different. And then sometimes when it comes to work and like sometimes people see somebody that's extroverted as somebody that might be a better leader, but sometimes that's just because they talk more and they don't see the other person that's being quiet and not saying anything. So anyway, I started learning about that. And then I'm like, wow, I kind of relate a lot to the introvert personality or characteristics or whatever. And then I learn about like the alpha male, the beta male, sigma male, gamma male, all these other different things. And from my understanding, like the alpha male needs attention, and they want to be in charge, and they want eyes on me, and they want to look
extrovert.
flashy. And where a sigma male doesn't care what anybody else thinks, doesn't really like, sees all the rules, and then is like, who made up all these rules?
Then he makes up his own rules.
And then they make up their own rules. They don't play by anybody else's rules. They don't follow anybody. And I don't know, it's kind of weird. But if you look up all these different personality types, there's probably one that you'll relate to. And then, so I start learning about introverts, and I'm like, wow, that sounds a lot like me. And then I learn about the sigma males, and I'm like, wow, that sounds a lot like me. And then I've been talking about like how I've noticed that, well, for one, I always thought that people were good at one thing. Like when somebody gets really good at something, you see a football player, well, that's what they do. They play football. And then I think Jamie Foxx is probably the first time that I was like, holy shit, he does more than one thing really good. Like he was literally the first person that I was like, holy.
50 Cent. You mentioned that about 50 Cent as well.
50 Cent is another one of these people, but I didn't recognize it with him because I knew Jamie Foxx was a comedian back in the day. And then all of a sudden he makes an album with T-Pain, which I loved. And I was like, dude, Jamie Foxx is fucking singing. And at that time he was already making movies and I'm like, wait a minute. Like this dude's I love watching his movies. Now he's a freaking singer. And then you look up old videos of him as a comedian, and then you find out the impressions that he does. And I'm like, hold on a second. Like, who am I to say that he can't do these things? Like, he's awesome at all of them.
Right.
And then over the years, I start to notice that, not like Jamie Foxx, but I have some of these traits, I guess. There's something about me that when it comes to athletic stuff, I'm not like the most athletic ever. And I'll never probably be world champion or champion at any athletic endeavor. But I always had this thing where I was good enough to compete at anything. Like if we're playing soccer, I could hate it, but I could go kick a ball around and I could probably be better than most. I liked football and I was better than most at football, even though I was smaller. I mean, just about anything athletically, I could just kind of pick it. Like I played racquetball. I'm better than most in racquetball. Like ping pong, I could fucking do that too.
Yeah.
You know, like all kinds of shit. And then I started thinking about the military. And like, I didn't know how to work on jets, but I do. I learned.
Right.
And then I started thinking about all the different shit that I've learned. And like, what is that? Like, I also told you that recently I started listening to my old music that I made. And I haven't listened to my rap music that I made in a long time. And I also told you that when I would listen to it, like it was hard for me to get into it. Yeah. Right. And I played it recently for the first time in a long time. And I was into it. Like I got into it. And when I listened to it, I was like, holy shit.
No, you
were
writing your shit and you were good. That's crazy.
And it's weird because I don't mean to say it in like an arrogant type of way.
Yeah.
But I can recognize it.
Yeah.
Like it's not garbage. I've heard garbage played on the radio, and I can make music that's better than the garbage that's played on the radio. Like I know that if I focused on it, I could have an audience that would listen to my music.
Right.
And then I also recently brought up to you that there was a time there where like I would think of funny shit. And I'm sure over the years, if you guys have listened to this podcast, like I'll say something funny. And then I've thought like, that's a funny thought. And then I kind of think about it a little bit more and I kind of turn it into like a little joke. And then one time I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll write some ideas down and go try and do 3 minutes at some stand-up place and see whatever. And I started writing shit down. And when I think about it, I'm like, if I really wanted to, and I put my attention and my focus on it, I could probably do it.
Yeah.
Podcasting. We just got a fucking sewing machine, and I'm learning how to sew again for like, I don't know how long, because I've done it before. But and what it's done more and more recently is like, why not? Why not? Like, I'm not going to limit myself to anything.
Yeah.
Because I can do anything, whatever. And not everybody may be that way, but I am, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see what I can do with it.
You haven't already?
No, I'm just saying, like, when you actually recognize it, it's like, well, why the fuck not?
See, so this is...
I mean, I've always kind of had the why the fuck not attitude.
This is what's crazy, is that he is just noticing this when I've been noticed that, like, about you.
Yeah. And,
with everything. Like,
fixing all kinds of shit, like just learning on YouTube, pick it up, go do it and figure it out, Leadership is another thing that has just kind of like, it's come natural to me. Like, there's things that I've told you that I used to do when I was 18 in the military that nobody taught me, that it was just like, this feels right. And then I end up reading it in a book. Like, that's how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And so this whole 40, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you going to say?
Go ahead.
Well, because I'm taking it in a different direction.
So I think that if we all were to take a moment and look back in our lives, I think that a lot of times we get so busy, we get so caught up in the noise,
doing that bullshit,
that we don't realize how great we fucking are.
Yeah.
A lot of times you have to remind me of the things that I've done.
Yeah.
And the things that I've done before you, I've had to remind myself.
Yeah.
And I feel that you've slowed down a bit. Like, you are more aware now.
Yeah.
You are more...
What do you mean slowing
conscious
down? Oh, like that?
You are more conscious. Yes.
Okay.
You're starting to, become aware. You're more mindful now.
No,
where
definitely.
You're starting to recognize and really see you.
Yeah. So, and what's been happening with seeing me and getting to know me
and becoming more enlightened. That's what this is.
And really, it's weird. It's weird because it's weird to say. And it may sound weird to hear. But I think everybody should try to figure out how to have this same feeling about yourself. Wait. And that is that I have like a superpower almost. Mm-hmm. Right? And it sounds crazy to say, crazy to think, but when you really look at it, it's like, who the fuck is anybody to tell me that I can't do something, that I can't try something with all the evidence of all the different things that I've been able to figure out, that I've been able to do, that I'm good at, that I'm naturally good at, like all this stuff.
Right.
But everybody has, I don't know if everybody has that because people are different. But everybody has something.
Yes.
Something. Mm-hmm. Some people may not be able to pick up everything the way I can.
Right.
And I can't, and there are probably things in certain areas that I can't just pick up like that. There's maybe a lot of things, but there's some things I can't. And for other people, they have something, and that thing they'll be better than everybody at because that is it, you know? Mm-hmm. But it's like a superpower. And who are you not to have a superpower like that? If it's possible for other people to have these so-called superpowers, mm-hmm. why isn't it possible for you to have them? Why are you different? If you don't feel like, if you feel, I know this, and that's the thing, it sounds arrogant. I know this for me. I have it. I have it. Who are you not to have it? Why not? There's a belief. Yeah. And that's the thing, is that just fucking do it. And you might surprise yourself.
Why do you think
and keep trying.
Why do you think people don't find it?
Well, I think a lot of times people quit. People don't stick to it.
Why do people quit?
They don't believe it. They don't truly believe that that's them.
There's a fear.
Okay.
Whether it's a fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown, change.
Yeah.
Trying something new.
Maybe it's human. It's the comfort thing, human nature. You just don't keep doing it because shit's hard sometimes, you know?
Well, just think about the things that you've done.
Yeah, but a black belt will be one also. But that doesn't come if I quit.
Right.
Right?
Whenever you tried something new.
It was always difficult.
Exactly.
This, damn it. There's something else that I wanted to share with you. But with this whole, so being good at different things, I started looking that up. And I was like, this is kind of weird. This is weird. Like, I've noticed about myself. Like, you just do sheet metal work, electrical work on airplanes, helicopters, refrigerators, washing machines, stoves, fucking pools, cars, whatever. It doesn't matter. Fix it, figure it out, make music, do podcasts, fight, be a dad, like all this shit, right? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, like, when you find out, like, when you're comfortable with who you are, like, I've been going through all these things and I'm like, oh, well, when you're good at all these different things, that's called being a polymath. Mm-hmm. Poly meaning many in Greek. It's a Greek word. It's poly meaning many, math meaning subjects. So many subjects, you're good at many subjects. And there's people throughout history that have been that way. Leonardo da Vinci was one, Einstein. There's been a bunch of, Elon Musk is a modern, and they were also called Renaissance men, like people that were just good at everything. Back in the day, you had to be good at all kinds of shit. That's just how it was, you know? So I'm like looking at all these things like, oh, wow, I'm an introvert and I'm a Sigma male and I'm a polymath and this and that. And it's like, oh, I'm starting to like I hear these words and at the same time, I really don't care. It's like that. I don't know if it's part of the Sigma male thing where you just don't give a shit. It's like, I'm going to do whatever I do. It's like, you can't label me. And then even though people do, you know, it's like, I am me. And right. As I get to know me better and my powers and everything about it, right, I get more comfortable with myself. And I really, even more, start to care less of what anybody thinks. Like, really, just don't care. The only thing that matters is what I think of me and the people that I care about that think of me. Anybody else I could give a shit about. And I'm completely okay with that. And also, it makes me want to be me at all times. When you can't always be you. And that is, I'm not saying that you can't be you, but depending on your situation, like, I have a job. It's hard for me to be me because of what I do. Some of you may know what I do or where I work or whatever, but I work for a big company. And whenever there's if you work for a big enough company, there's going to be things that you don't agree with. Mm-hmm. Right? But at the end of the day, like when we have things that are going on, there's times that I want to like straight up just speak up and say something, right? Like, this is bullshit. This is the truth. This is how I feel. This is how everybody feels. What does that do? You know what I mean? So like, it's like being okay with living and being 100% you unapologetically, right? Mm-hmm. But there are also consequences to that depending on what you do. You know, and that is a dilemma, something that I've been struggling with more recently. Like these thoughts, because there's things that I have to weigh out. I have a family. I have a job. There is an income, you know?
It's funny you're talking about this because I was talking to you about freedom.
Yeah. And it's like it fucking eats you when you know that you should say something and you don't because there may be a consequence. Mm-hmm. But even if there isn't a consequence, like even if, let's say you don't get fired, but you never know who's like, who was that? Oh, okay.
So,
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. The more enlightened.
But at a certain point, I've reached a position or a level where I'm at. Am I like we were talking about earlier? I could go for higher positions, do more, be more. Yeah. What's the point? Do I want to do that? Would I want to do that? Would that bring me any more happiness, joy in my life? Probably not. So if I'm not, then why not? Mm-hmm. You know, maybe. But go ahead. Sorry.
You're on a roll today. The more enlightened you become, the harder it's going to get. Because the soul, or this is what I believe.
Your alignment.
Alignment will lean towards freedom and
authenticity.
And depending on what freedom means to you, whether it's detaching from the things that are no longer serving you, you have to be willing to release and let go.
Yeah, I think
like it's crazy because when you are awake, if you are in a relationship and the other individual is not that, sometimes it's the partner you have to release in order for you to be free.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a career.
What are you trying to tell me?
Sometimes it's... No, when I was in India and I was going through what I was going through, that in itself was something like, how am I going to go back and be in this relationship?
Yeah.
And you were like already waking up, but you allowed me to express me. And you've always been that for me, to support me. And even though you were feeling a certain way, you guided me through it. You were there to hold me.
Yeah.
And to guide me.
You know, throughout this podcast, like I've always said that I wouldn't keep you from doing something that you wanted to do. That also goes for like your experiences. You know, like you've never wanted to go to church and then me be like, nah, let's not. Like, I don't want to. I might say I don't want to go, but I've never been like, you shouldn't go, or you don't, you know, I don't want you to go, or whatever. I've never said anything like that, even though I may not believe it or agree with it or whatever. But when you believe what I believe, mm-hmm. that there is no God looking over us, that we are here doing our thing.
And we are.
We are.
And we are.
Yes. Yes, but we are not property of anybody else.
Right.
We are not owned by any God. We are a living being walking on this rock. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it that way, who the fuck has authority? And anybody. Who has authority to tell you anything? Nobody. Nobody. And to me, that is sacred. Mm-hmm. As a living being. So whatever experiences that you want to have, that you do have, I don't want to interfere with, because you are allowed to have that. That is your right as a living being. Now, I may have questions.
Yeah.
Which I had a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. You know, but that's just kind of how I feel, is like everybody should be allowed to do what they want.
So Miguel has, I've been reading or listening to this audio book called
The Demon Haunted World.
The Demon Haunted World.
By Carl Sagan.
And today I could not stop listening to the book.
Oh, really?
And it was talking about some things that I believe in. Things that I've experienced personally. And God, I should have gotten that you were talking. And those of you that have not heard my story about India may want to go back to find that episode, because it's too much to go over. But he was talking about gurus and psychics, like spirituality. And as I'm listening to this, I'm questioning the experiences that I have had. And the one in India came up because that guru knew things that there's no way that he would have ever known.
Yeah. So the book, The Demon Haunted World, is a book written by Carl Sagan, who is an astrophysicist. And he's done shows like Cosmos, and he explains the universe, and he's worked on NASA projects and all that. But this book, Demon Haunted World, is talking about just religion, spirituality, all these things. I mean, flat earth, aliens. I mean, it's all these things that people have beliefs in. A rabbit's foot, lucky pennies, just anything that people have beliefs in.
Magic.
That don't have any credible justification, validation, any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And the other day I had mentioned to you that I'm like, I don't know if I want to continue listening to this. Remember I told you that?
Yeah, and I've been wanting to talk to you about that. But
And,
so you went to India last year?
Yes.
About a year and a half ago.
Yes.
Yeah, and you had an
experience.
You met a guru.
I had an experience with a guru, and he sat me down. He didn't ask me any questions. Well, when I sat down, he started writing some things down. He asked me for my birthday. He already had it written down. Flipped the card over. It had, February 8th. And I said, my birthday's on the 7th. He said, if you were born in India, it would be the 8th, whatever, right? Then he asked about quick. Miguel's birthday, and he already had it written down. Like
you should have been like, no, bitch, I was born in Arizona, where it was February 7th.
And, while I sat down, he was already writing on paper.
Yeah.
And so he asked me for your birthday. I already had it written down. And then he got
Did he have September 7th or September 8th?
He had September 8th. And then he, knew things like my sister passing away. He knew we took in her children. He knew about like my dad, my mom, like just all this stuff, like facts, like details. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there, and I didn't believe in psychics back then. Like I didn't believe in, I didn't believe. Yeah. And I didn't really know what a guru was either. I knew a Sadhguru, wise man, whatever, right?
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, but never had any experience with a guru before. So I was floored, like just blown away. And, he said that we were siblings in a past lifetime.
You and him.
Him and I, yep. And he said I was from Indra, or my name was Indra. And we lived in Indonesia, and he's been looking for me for a long time, and he gave me all these gifts. And when I left him, I felt like I was floating, right? Like there's a long story too. I can't get into it because I have a call at 4:30, so I have to cut this short. But he knew all these things, and there was after I had left him, I was on this high. Like I felt like I was floating, just like, I don't know what happened to me.
Yeah.
Some people that believe in this stuff said that, I was on a spell, or I don't know.
You say he gave you a tea too, but there may not have been, it may have just been tea.
Yeah. I don't know. And there's this woman that I went with, and I've been meaning to call her because I totally disconnected from her. That's another story. And today I started thinking about the situation.
And listening to the book.
Yeah. When I was listening to the book, and I started looking back at the event, and I realized that my driver, who was driving us around, knew the owner of the hotel. There was something. Like they just had this contract where, he worked for the hotel. The hotel would go pick up the people that
he would take people to the hotel.
He would take people to the hotel, and
he probably gets paid for taking people and whatever.
And then while he was driving us around, and the woman that I was with was kind of like angry, like just that person. She didn't put off a good energy.
Yeah.
And he looked at her, and he's like, told her, your chakras are all messed up.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about chakras back then, and he just looked at me, and he's like, you're just love and light. And I'm like, well, I know that. No, but He's like, would you guys like to go see my guru? And she was like, how much is it? Like very abruptly. And he's like, for free. Well, today when I was thinking about it, I'm like, he could have called the guy at the hotel. He could have given them our information. I don't remember when we signed up, like for the hotel, because I got this hotel. Like because I'm very open. If you look up my first and last name, you can see everything.
Yeah.
And he could have found the podcast, but that he would have needed time. But I was just, because you're like, have you ever questioned? Have you ever this? Have you ever, and I haven't given myself the time to really think about like everything. And today I was doing that. And if he would have got my information, he could have found the podcast.
Could have found your Facebook.
But there's things that were mentioned about my dad that is nowhere. You understand?
Right. There was also, you had got to India. India is not, it was a shock when you got to India. You went to see the guru pretty early in your India trip.
I was in Jaipur. Not really. It was towards the end. Because I was in Mumbai. I went to Mumbai the following day.
You still had to go to the event.
Right. So I left Jaipur. I went to Mumbai. The event was the following day.
Either way.
I had like a week left.
Either way, you can't say you weren't in shock. You were in some shock when you were there. I was. Pretty much the entire time.
Right. No, yeah. I mean, there was a lot
you were
of unknown.
You were in
a
state
happening
before you got to him, just from being in India.
Right. Right.
You know? Yeah.
You know, and then it got me thinking of like other things, spiritual experience that I've had. And regardless of me questioning, like what happened to me, my first spiritual experience in 2013 with my sister. Okay, that can kind of be explained, right? If my sister, like with what happened with me during that time, like something was triggered because my sister used to
play pranks on you,
pranks on us, and immediately if I would have saw that, thought about her, boom, I can change my state.
Okay.
Right? So, but then I go to the church and the woman finds me, takes me to the front, and the guy who's praying over me says, all I hear is, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. There was no connection there whatsoever. But I was starting like to question everything. And then I realized that this book is giving me exactly what I needed, though, because I was so open to things. And after listening to this chapter, it got me to realize that being open as I was, can bring things, you know, that it's like
misinterpretations. It's not just open, it's open and searching.
Yeah.
It's not open and whatever may come, may come. It's open and searching for something bigger. There has to be. This can't be it.
No. That's no.
No?
No.
So is this it?
Why is this?
So is this it?
I don't know. Do you know? Is this it? Do you know?
I don't.
I don't either.
That is what I would say.
Ask me if I'm okay if this is it.
No. I'm talking about what you can see, what you can hear, what you can test. Mm-hmm. That's it. Like, yes, there's other things, but there is no spiritual. There is no magical. There is no soul.
Oh, I don't know.
I'll say I don't know. This is the thing, is that I'll say I don't know, and when I say I don't know, if you were to put this on a fucking scale, my I don't know-ness is right down the fucking middle.
I don't know-ness? Yes.
Is right down the fucking middle. I don't know. I'm not going to lean to yes. Mm-hmm. It's I don't know because I haven't fucking died and came back, and neither has anybody else and told us anything. Mm-hmm. So my I don't know-ness is down the fucking middle. But there's a lot of people that will say, I don't know, but I kind of lean to the fucking yes side.
And? What are you saying?
That is a bias. That is a sign of a bias.
Okay.
Because there is zero evidence for any of it. Yeah. There is something that also happened, and this is a good way to end the show. but with all these things that have happened to me, there is this thing. There is a want. I think it's a human thing. It's a psychological thing where there is like this, maybe there is a little magic or something. Somebody can know what I'm thinking or whatever, shit like that. When you have a bunch of these experiences, like I'm talking about, you start, I don't know, for me, there's a lot of shit that's been going on, and I start realizing the differences between people and the non-differences. And I start seeing, like I said, these powers or whatever that I have, that people have, and all this. And powers.
Why do you say powers?
And powers sounds like because it is. It's like a thing that you can develop, and
it's not a power then. For me, power is kind of like magic. It's kind of like, right? When you think about that. Abilities?
Yeah, abilities. But it's not just an ability. It's more than an ability, right? Like my ability to be able to do certain things is not like most people, is what I'm talking about. Like Michael Jordan's ability to play basketball was not like most people. His power, he had a superpower for playing basketball.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's not magic, but the superpower came from training and being in the gym before everybody else and being there before everybody else. Genetics, shooting free throws.
Your dad's
forever.
a lot like that too. My dad's
right?
Yeah. His dad is very much.
He was second place in the world. He had powers, but
did all kinds of stuff.
But he also fucking would beat his forearms at school on his desk. He would be training nonstop.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was developed. So even still, like all these powers that people have are not spiritual, are not magic. They are developed. And then when you start learning about people and how we're not different and all these different things, one of the biggest realizations is there is no magic. There is no magic, and we're not different. So when you're sitting across from somebody else that you think is some fucking hot shit or whatever, they're no different than you.
Exactly.
They are no fucking, whether they have $1 billion in their bank account or whatever the fuck they've accumulated or any. It's like, fucking bring it. Like, what makes makes you think that you are better than me?
No one is better than it. We are. We are one.
And
we
then
are.
At the end of the day, it's like,
are.
That's it. I'm it. And you are too. It's weird. There's like an arrogance kind of to it, but I don't.
I'm very curious.
You know what? Before we get out of here, last thing. I watched a video about this. And there's a guy, Chris Williamson. He does a lot of podcast stuff. We've been watching a lot of his stuff recently. And I watched a short video about him talking about when you know a good idea is a good idea. And he said, when you feel like, shit, why didn't I come up with that? Mm-hmm. That's when you know an idea is a good idea. He said that he talked to somebody, they were writing a book, and they named the book The Power of Low Self-Esteem. And as soon as he heard it, he was like, shit, why didn't I think of that? And I've talked to you about this a lot in the past. And people always talk about high self-esteem. High self-esteem. You need to have a high self-esteem. You need to look at yourself and feel. All the things that I do not come from a high self-esteem.
Yeah, it's from doing.
And if you look at a lot of really successful people, they don't have a high self-esteem. The reason that they are successful is because they don't think that they are hot shit and that they need to work more. They need to get better. That's why they're good at shit. There is a power in having a low self-esteem and thinking that you are not good enough, that you need to be better. That is how you get better. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I mean,
you've been saying that at the end. It's kind of weird.
Well, you think about like you hear about the studies in China or whatever about kids and math. you know, or not to be fucking stereotypical or whatever, but you hear like
that. No.
But you hear like when they ask kids in China, like, how do you feel you doing math? And they're like, I think I could probably do better or whatever, you know. And then you ask the kids in the US, hey, how do you think you would do on a math? Oh, I'd be fucking awesome, dude. I'll crush a math test, 100 out of 100. And then you test them both, and the freaking American kids fail, and the Chinese kids all crush it, and they all feel like they could have done better, and then you go back and study more, you know. So, anyway. And with that, make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Share it with the people that you know. Thank you guys for being with us.
Thank you guys for your love. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching Opposites Attract podcast.
Where we get better
Together.
Bye.
Bye.